Hey everyone. This week I posted some indicators I made in TradingView. I wanted to do a showcase video and explain how to use them and how they work. And first, they are inspired by this guy. This is Mike Webster's. Has like a podcast thing, not podcast, but like a ramble on video, Webby Rambles on. He was one of the developers, and it's based on this one. He's one of the developers of IBD, investor.com, and made many of the systems that they have over there. You can check him out separately. Kind of rambly videos, so if you have a lot of time, he does like 2-3 hour videos. I watch them on 2x and just skip to the parts I'm interested in, basically. Just to make that indicators. I'm probably gonna make a couple more based on his stuff once I'm done going through all of it. But even these two are quite powerful. So first we have PowerTrend. PowerTrend basically checks if some conditions are met, and that is the low of the day being above the 21 EMA and the 21 EMA being above the 5 EMA for more than 5 days. More or equal to 5 days. And basically when that happens, we have a power trend going. Power trend, as you can see here, are basically bull states in which markets tend to go up and they remain trending up. And then we have the relative strength indicator, which chooses a benchmark. Oh, sorry, didn't want to open this. Uh, Chooses a benchmark, in this case SPX, and it shows relative performance over a time interval, in this case 90 days. For 90 bars, not 90 days, 90 bars. So for example, if SPX was up 20% over the last 90 bars, and in this case Nvidia was up 30%, the relative strength indicator will show a value of 10. So generally speaking, what you want to be doing is buying stocks that are green, above zero, and selling them when they start going down, or if they go into red. You should not be owning stocks that are in the red more or less, unless you like try to bottom catch or stuff. But even the bottom catch part is kind of tricky. I'll show us a couple of examples and we'll see. Now, what we had this week is a bunch of power trends triggering. Nvidia was one of them. Google was another one. We have index level power trends on QQQ, IWM, and SPY. Or not necessarily them, but the equivalents. So this is US 500, US 100, US 30 also triggered on Friday, and US 2000 triggered a couple of days ago. So all major indexes, the futures mostly because we don't necessarily have them all on SPY. For example, US 500 triggered 2 days ago, and SPY only triggered yesterday because it operates within the trading hours, not all day. Based on US 500, it happened earlier. But that aside, let's go back to the list and talk about some notes. So, like I said, we want this relative strength thing to go up, and it doesn't. It can be red, but it has to be ascending. Meaning, even if how you read this, even if this is in the red, which is cumulative performance over the last interval, is red. If it's starting going up, it means the stock hasn't caught up quite yet, but is starting to outperform SPX in that interval. So, for example, Nvidia bottomed here, and then it started going up and outperforming SPY and kept going quite a lot. Then, for power trend, how I interpret this is quite a bullish for Nvidia. I posted about it as well. Basically, it's a very similar setup to what we had here. Major consolidation for quite a long time, a surge up. We got the green signal here, which is the crossover between the 21 EMA and the 55 EMA on the RS indicator. We got a signal here. We were going up, and very similar setup. So lots of consolidation, a surge up. We got a buy signal at the top. It's very nearly identical to this one, and then we continued up and went up quite a bit from there. And basically ascending, we crossed into the green, and now we're starting to expanding. We got the crossover, we got the buy signal here. Very good setup. I think Nvidia is going much higher. Then we have Google. with a very similar setup. Is we don't have a reference here, but I'll actually show this as a reference on NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, we have a setup similar to what we see here in NVIDIA, meaning we went down, we're bouncing off the zero level, and this is what Google looks like. We haven't got the green dot yet, but it's coming very soon, or within a week or two when we get the crossover. But regardless of that, we're starting going up. The RS itself has crossed above the 21 EMA, is going to cross above the 55 EMA as well, which are also signals. And even though I don't mark them here, and again, a similar setup to NVIDIA, and it should be going higher. Then another good example is Oklo. Uh, by the way, I'm also going to reference other stuff, of course, because it's a bunch of things, not just these two. So what we have here, price breakout. Even though we got rejected on Friday, this one is ascending. We're gonna get a crossover here within a few days. Uh, like I said, price broke out. We're gonna turn green again within a couple of weeks at most. So this is looking quite good unless we go back below the breakout and everything else. Even if we continue going down, the expected behavior is that we would basically bounce off the ribbon. And as long as we don't go below the 21 EMA for a sustained period of time, then or below the ribbon, this is fine. This is a cut if we get a close below the ribbon. So basically, if this goes down and we close, continues going up, and we close below it, this is a cut. This is how we treat the setup. The the ribbon slash 21 EMA is going to be a major pivot in this case specifically. They all merge together. Basically, we're going to have the 55, the 25, the 13, and everything together. That's why I said it's kind of the same thing here. Now, ZTS. This is an interesting one as a bottom pick because of the way it looks. So, first of all, we've been in relative strength for quite a while. Meaning we bottomed out. And even though price hasn't really bottomed out, the market was weak. But even on this weak period, basically ZTS went higher relative to SPY. So we have relative strength on this side, and we're almost crossing to the zero line as well. So even though price is at the lows, this is quite a decent setup. We'll see what earnings brings. So I wouldn't touch this before we we see what happens with earnings, but the trigger is going to be a close above the ribbon. Ideally the 55 because this has been going down for quite a while, but the long here is not at this spot. We could still get, and not before earnings, we could still get some funky stuff. But even if we miss out on some gains for earnings, maybe it pops 20%. That's still fine. That's actually what we want to see. It doesn't, the 20% we're going to miss because this pops 20% are not the important part. We want to capture, so let's say 20%, just to measure this out. Let's say exactly from this 20%, there's quite a lot here, but holy shit, it's way too much for this one. But let's say 10%. We miss this 10%, but what we're looking to capture is this, which is 50%. And even if it was 20%, it will still be a lot. And it's not like you don't enter immediately. Like for example, if this gaps up on a move up, it's a buy. You don't have to wait for end of day for it to close above it. So if this opens up higher because of earnings, let's say we continue like this, and then it pops for earnings and it goes here, you buy here. That's it. If we get a clear close above, a clear move above the ribbon, this is fine. So this would be a buy because of what the way this looks. And again, we've been not making new lows, is finding support here, is showing relative strength, and the only thing we want is a close above. Earnings, if you want to buy before earnings or wait after earnings, is up to you. But again, considering the way it looks, I would wait for it. I would wait until after earnings, and maybe play. This can be played something like when is earnings? It's May 7th, so in 2 weeks, quite a bit of time. So if this for some reason goes above the 21 EMA and closes above the 20 EMA, you can take a long here and maybe goes higher before earnings, but I would not hold through earnings on this one. I would wait to see what happens and go back in if it's positive. Okay, then we have IBKR, which also triggered a buy signal and went lower. This is normal and expected, not necessarily expected. It's what ideal for entries. For like here, again, triggered here, went a bit lower, bounced to the ribbon and went higher. So what we want here is we go long. It's an all-time high breakout basically being retested. And this looks okay. It was ascending. It went down here, but bouncing a bit. So what we should be expecting here is, and exactly of the 21 EMA, is to go long. Friday was perfect for going in, and expect that we will go higher. So expectation is that the 21 EMA will hold. If we go lower, cut the position if we close below the 55 EMA, and then so let me draw again. So we go lower. If we close here below the 55 EMA, this is a cut. But this still won't break the buy signal. The buy signal will break a bit later, lagging. If after that we go back and we close above the 21 EMA, it's okay to go back in. The expectation, like the money you will lose by jungling this is minuscule compared to the potential gain that if this power trend gets going. So the money you will make when the power trend gets going, and it will get going quite often, is much more than you will lose. Like for example, if you long here and you cut it here, and then you have to go again long here. This is incomparable. So it's better to be safe and basically cut for safety if we close below the 55, and just go long again if we go back above the 21. Alternatively, like if you don't have a position quite yet and we go below the 55 and then we move above the 55, you can basically go back in because the expectation is that we will go higher as well. Okay, City, basically identical setup to IBKR, but this one most likely will bounce here. So we got a buy signal, we're getting a pullback. Ideal entry would be on a pullback to the 21 EMA, so around here. But again, the expectation is that this will go higher and we'll have a major breakout from this broadening formation as well. Then we have Vista. Again, we look at many other things. What we have here, we have an impulsive day, basically a crossover above the moving averages as well. This is ascending, so this is good. We got a green signal all the way back here, but it kept going down in price. But again, the relative strength is shown. We have a potential breakout. It's difficult to evaluate, like it can still be a fake out, but we have a close above the trend line here. So this is looking quite good as well. It's going to be power trendable in like 10 days. So this is the first day closing above the 20 EMA. So it will take probably like no, it will take more than 10 days because we haven't crossed the 55, the 21 over above the 55. But the 21 will cross above the 55 soon. And most likely, yeah, in 10 days, if this price action continues and it maintains strength, in 10 days we will have a power trend buy signal as well. PDD. So PDD is here because we're making, this is ascending. And in spite of, even though price went lower and we are retesting the lows, we have a green signal here. And we have a strong support at this level, which is the AV up from here, from the 2022 bottom, which was support here as well. So this thing, this setup here is quite promising. The safe version of this is also wait until we cross above the 21 EMA. So you don't want to buy here because we could go lower. Maybe you could do a speculative buy if we go lower and get this 95 AVU up tag or crossover. And then the safe version is to wait for it to cross above and close above the 21 EMA. So if this happens, you're okay to go long because I expect this to continue. But the problem with this kind of setup is that it can take a while longer for this to play out. So this can still go like this until earnings, and maybe from earnings it pops and goes higher and stuff like that. So that's the setup. But it looks promising just from the fact that we have a bullish divergence here. Open. So price was strong. We are above the ribbon, above both the 55 and the 21 EMA. We've been above them for quite a while. We haven't crossed the 21 above the 55, so that will take a while longer. We are at breakout. This has turned ascending. And again, we are going towards a crossover that will happen probably like in a week or two. So nothing imminent, except maybe we get a push up. So this looks quite good as well. Bull, same thing. We have this price going down, and this was going up before price was bottom. And now we did a crossover or everything. We're going to do a 21 over 55 EMA crossover on the ribbon as well. This is starting to look quite good. We're going to get a power trend signal probably like mid-May if this continues and we don't go lower. Again, it can take a while for this to stabilize, but it's looking much better as a bottom than anything else. And when I highlight these things with this ascending pattern, this is the alternative. The alternative would be something like Nike, which made new lows and it's accelerating down basically relatively speaking, because it bounced softly and doesn't do anything. So this look is bad. Then we have MU, which this is an example of what a very good power trend looks like, and it went higher, and now it's shaping up to do another leg up because the RS line passed through both moving averages. Price went higher, obviously, and we're gonna get a green signal as well. So what tends to happen? I'll show you the bad examples. What tends to happen is that this gets faded lower, lower, and lower. The price keeps going higher. This price keeps going higher, and that's a negative signal. And I'll show it when we get to the bad examples. But this one actually looks good right now. It looks like it's the beginning of a new leg up. And just like many of the semis, it's been in consolidation for a couple of months now. If it wants to do a new leg up, it has the potential this leg up has the potential to be a significant one. So it's not a fake out here, because the relative strength is showing us that it's real strength and it's expanding, or it wants to expand at least. And yeah, that's just all of it. And this should go like to 700, 800 quite easily. SNDK, same thing. Like it did this for the consolidation part. See that it went down, and now it's turning back up. And similar to MU, it crossed above RS line, crossed above the moving averages. It even bounced off them here. We're gonna get a positive crossover soon. It's the 1000 level, which is psychological, but there's nothing worrying here quite yet. So this continues to look bullish. Oracle, another example of what a good bottom looks like. We have the relative strength line going higher before price bottoms, and green crossover here, and now it's looking quite okay. We are doing a 21 to 55 crossover, so the start of the power trend count begins kind of no, it began a couple of days ago, so it's looking good. We should be getting a power trend signal on Oracle if strength continues, probably like by end of next week, something like that. So it's looking quite good, even with the weakness we saw from now earnings, where everything kind of dumped. Oracle held up well. This is 5%, 6%, but holding up well is relative. We're holding the AVR from the low. We're holding, oops, we're holding the ribbon. So this is still quite good, and we haven't made new lows. We haven't even attempted to go to the lows in a serious way here. So looks quite good, and I would expect we get a bounce and go higher for Oracle. Okay, we got one on CCJ, and similar to what we had in MU is basically we want to see reacceleration, and we got a green crossover here. We're attempting to go through the RS line to the moving averages and trying to expand. So I expect this goes like this. Nextra, same kind of thing. This one, I want to talk about the 55 EMA reconnect on the power trend. So we have the power trend, and what you will notice is that whenever we are in a power trend, we tend to bounce off the 50 EMA. This is 55 EMA. Obviously, we go lower. The yellow dots are closest below the 55 EMA. But that's kind of a good power trend will always have this, and I think we saw it for other stocks as well. Basically, when we are in a power trend, we will pull back because the market pulls back and some weakness generally is to be expected at some point after going up a lot. But we generally tend to see pullbacks to these yellow lines and then move higher. And this is what we saw on Nextra. Basically, power trend started here. We went up, going sideways. We closed 2 times below the 55 EMA. And now, due to earnings, we went higher and looking to see a breakout. Actually, this is an all-time high breakout. So this is quite good. Expected to continue. I don't think we'll get a pullback on this one. We got the green one on first day as well. So this one is pretty good for continuation. I don't even think we do a pullback. We just go higher from this one and hit that 105. A concerning thing for this one would be if it closes below the 21 EMA. So if this one closes below the 21 EMA, it's a cut from being long. And again, rule is if we close below 21 EMA, you cut it. If we go back in above the 21 EMA, you go back long. Another example here is NIO. We have the power trend here. This has been going down a bit, and we close below the 21 EMA here. But what I wanted to say is that we could go back all the way here, like 585, and I think we will. We will get 2 yellow dots or 1 yellow dot here, and then that's the buyable dip. And that's kind of the expectation of how this will play out. You don't really want to, it will be on the weak side of the buy signal, and we could also definitely bounce from here directly and go higher, but it will be either here the bounce or here the bounce. If we spend 3 days below the 55 EMA, it's probably a cut. And like the rule says, if we then go back up, you can go back in once we recapture the 21. PayPal started to look good. We had this capitulation bottom here. Ever since then, we've been in an uptrend. We are above the moving averages, 21 above the 55 soon, or I think it happened on Friday actually. So we are on a timer to a power trend. And surprisingly, this is holding up quite well. Again, is decorrelating with software. Uh, Pretty strong looking chart, and I think it will have a build up here towards a breakout like this, and eventually there will be a reason to surge, maybe from earnings, maybe something else. We shall see. Cypher, similar to the Nvidia setup, we've been going up for quite a while. We've crossed above everything. We got the buy signal here, and as long as we hold above this level, I think this will continue. It's unlikely that we will go below it. Corsair buy signal, basically going up for a while. Oops. Going up for a while, like I said, above the ribbons. We crossed over above zero, so expect strength in Corsair to continue and to go higher. Scissors, buy signal here. We've been pulling back for a while, but it's a good one. Like we've been hugging the 21 EMA, and now it's looking like we're going towards expansion again. RS hasn't it's been going down, but hasn't gone critically low. So this is normal to see like the kind of bounce here. We'll see what earnings brings. I wouldn't go long this one before earnings, again, with the risk of maybe missing out on a move up, but it is what it is. Roku buy signal at close to all-time high. It's going to consolidate here with the ribbon, but and most likely get out with the earnings here. Again, wouldn't make a move before earnings, but that's your call to make, whatever you want to do. Starbucks. So this uptrend all the way from here. We got a green crossover here, and it's been going up ever since, relatively speaking, even though it did this big pullback. So this power trend ended here, but we got it again at this spot, and the setup is quite good, like horizontal breakout-ish. Oh, this is fine, and this right here. So it's looking like a build up to our breakout, towards the breakout, like this, and maybe earnings give it to us. Another name what I would wait before to see what happens with earnings, because if this is a valid power trend and earnings will make it go up, it unless it spikes up huge, we still have time to get in and participate in the rally. UNH, the same thing. We had earnings, it popped up. We got a buy signal here. We crossed over into positive, relatively speaking. So this has the potential to go higher. It will probably catch up. Wait for the rebound to catch up. It's still at resistance here. Oops. Still at resistance. So most likely it will wait for um, the rebound a bit, go a bit sideways. This will accelerate, maybe do another retest of this AVU up here combined with the ribbon, and eventually should move higher. PG also had earnings. It popped and faded quite a bit, but still looking quite good. Um, we should be getting a crossover again and should go higher. Another one in which, while we were bottoming, we were already making an uptrend in relative strength. So this is the type of bottom you want to see, not the one like the one from Nike. Okay, some questionable stuff. So this is Airbnb. It has a very nice pennant or no structure here for the long term, but it's a bit strange, like leaning bullish, but not quite there yet. And I would wait to get a buy signal, and then maybe it is. Like, I want to see it expand again. It's bullish, like I said, but I don't know, something about it makes me not really want to get back in. We could get a combination of a breakout here, which gives it a huge target, it like 217. So I don't really care about what happens. We are at what, 140. I don't really care what happens between 140 and 150. I want to catch the 150 to 217 part. So that's why I'm a bit reluctant to and willing to wait for it. Then we have Coke, which is interesting. We're in a power trend, and this has been going down, which is normal during the pullback. It's been kind of weak during the market recovery. Lots of closes below the 55 EMA, and we are at risk of the 55 EMA crossing below the 21 EMA. That's why it's kind of a questionable setup. But it has earnings on the 28th, so on Tuesday. I think Pepsi beat earnings. Uh, yeah, it beat, but and it got a pop. Not beat. Don't care about the beat, but it popped a bit, then faded again. So kind of a optimistic scenario, but we have to wait for earnings. So this could be like the classical pullback to the 55 EMA and swing around it during a power trend, but it could also be like the end of it. Without seeing what earnings brings, it's impossible to know. If earnings is fine and it pushes it higher, it should be the one of the crossover, and this becomes just like a wedge, and we're breaking out of it and going for another leg up. So it's questionable because of that. We don't know what's going to happen with it. It's a wait. But if earnings are fine and it makes it pop, it's okay to go along with it because it should go higher than where we are now. Because uh, this is a breakout area, long term channel. We went above it, faded again. But if this time it goes above it again, I think it will stick and the target again becomes very much higher, like 100 or something like that. And I'm interested in the part above the breakout, not the quote unquote pennies that we get in this area by trying to front run it. Okay, UPS. Again, I posted this one that's as a good idea a couple of weeks ago, like an inverted head and shoulders. It's more visible on the weekly, basically here, here, and the shoulder, shoulder, and it's looking okay so far. But we have a red crossover, and it basically has underperformed the market in the past week or so. Like the trend is going down, not very aggressively, and we could get a bounce, but also not not unconcerning. So it's another name that you want to wait and see what happens with it and just follow because it is also at the long-term breakout potential. I'll switch to weekly. Like we can break the downtrend here and break out, and if we do that we should be going to 160, and it's much more important to get a valid move and confirmation for it, and take the move to 160 from, I don't know, 115, let's say, than going trying to front run it and making a mistake because it doesn't go your way. Then we have Netflix, also in a power trend, also doing like this move below the 55 EMA, uh, and also looks kind of constructive. Like we are in an uptrend here. We went slightly below zero, but doesn't look like it's accelerating. So I'm gonna give this one the benefit of the doubt and say I expect it will go higher. But the entry for this one, because we want confirmation, is to wait for it to go below the 21 EMA. So if Netflix closes above the 21 EMA, then it's fine to take long, and I would expect the power trend will continue, and we should be going to 120 plus at a minimum. Most likely we will retest the all-time high, but without exceeding this trend line. So my expectation for how Netflix will play out is going to be like a move higher. Obviously, this is way too steep. So let's redraw something like this. But again, the trigger for going long is if it closes above the 21 EMA. So something like this. And this will be the cycle top for Netflix. When we do this all-time high retest, it will be this massive, massive double top. Most likely we go like this over the long run. We shall see. Obviously, it's just speculation at the moment, and we will recheck at the time. But for now, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt and wait to see if it can recapture the 21 EMA. Then we have Light, which is questionable because it's kind of has a concerning look, but it's also trying to fix that. So we have red dot, green dot again, and red dot again. So it's kind of started underperforming the market as a trend. And the distance between the 22, I'll go full screen on this one. You see that the distance between these two lines is increasing, meaning the decay is accelerating. But on Friday, it tried to recover. I also know that this one had flow this week. It was sold puts. We also have this pennant looking thing here, which is quite constructive. So this attempt at going higher is legitimate, and it can definitely go higher. So this is just a short-term play kind of setup in which you take the breakout if it goes and play it for a couple of days, and that's kind of it. We're coming close to a thousand psychological level here. So for this one, I would consider it a short-term trade. You buy, I don't know, 1000 C 2 months out for June or something, a breakout, and just let it do its thing. Should make money and just get out afterwards. This is kind of how I think this setup. So overall weakness, but it's trying to fix that, and that's why it's sort of like in the questionable part of this. Then we have FCX, which is questionable in a different way. So we had a buy signal, but it dumped from earnings, basically from lower copper sales, and they had an accident at the Indonesia mine last year, and now we're seeing the outcomes of that in the data. But this is kind of wrong, and I still think this might be bullish. But we respect the rule that only if it closes above the 21 EMA. So we're gonna respect the weakness, and we want to see strength before we go long. And that strength has to be on a close above the 21 EMA. And why I'm biased bullish on this one is because if we look at something similar like tech, which is also copper and stuff, also triggered a buy signal at the same time. But because it didn't have any reason for weakness, because their earnings were okay and they didn't have the accident thing, this one is staying okay. It got faded on the earnings, but doesn't really matter that much. It could still go lower as well, but uh, have to respect the power trend and consider it to be bullish. This looks quite okay. Again, looks like a reacceleration to the upside. Sorry about that. So looks okay. So this drop in FCX can be deceiving, uh, and the market will likely reconsider selling it most likely. Let me have Coherent. This is very similar to what we saw in Light. So very similar setup. Uh, Same kind of concern. So this is like it's kind of showing weakness. It's trying to recover from that now. It could definitely go higher, but I would say this one is closer to the end of the cycle. Like this power trend has been going up to since May 22nd, 2025. So this is very close to the end of the power trend. I would say like within the next 2 months, this will end, in my opinion, unless we get expansion. If we get expansion again, which I kind of doubt because it's already super overextended, I would reconsider. But it doesn't have the same setup. So while Light is bullish because we're close to 1,000, and I think it will be pushed by the options market. Plus, we saw the flow with the major push selling on Light. Coherent didn't have that, and I would be more reluctant on Coherent as opposed to Light. Then a couple of the bad ones. So just like we talked about the bottom, when we see bottoms, we want to see ascending relative strength before price bottoms. The same kind of thing is true in reverse. And what we have, for example, in Walmart is close to a new all-time high with much lower relative strength with a red crossover, and this is not looking good at all. So expectation is that Walmart will do like a double top and then do this and then break down and just play out its double top, maybe actually here. So this is the kind of look we do not want to see, especially at the end of a power trend. This is basically the end of the power trend kind of look. And we can see it here as well, like made a new high here, then started going lower, and so on and so on. Eventually, the power trend broke. So yeah, then we have Moderna. I'm gonna have a couple of healthcare names here looking quite strange. So I would have said that Moderna is fine. Maybe it's just like a pullback to get those yellow dots like this. So we have this base, and maybe we're just gonna do this and then continue up because this is possible. Uh, and a breakout at this point could be quite. I could see it happening, but we just have to wait. The power trend has been going on for a while. We didn't get a close below the 55 at all. It's kind of about time, and it's still. I'm open to being constructive about it, but again, I want to wait, see how it stabilizes, and then when it attempts to do this new leg up, that's when you just go long. You don't go long into this weakness because maybe it doesn't do that. And if it doesn't do that, it could drop like to here, to this area here, maybe a bit higher, something like this. So it could happen like this, and we lose the power trend, we go lower, and we break down. So we don't want to buy on the weakness, we want to buy on the strength. Because again, we are interested in this part here, which is 82%. We don't care about the sideways that would happen in this area. We want to buy the strength, not the weakness. AXT. AXT, similar to what we saw in Walmart, it's starting to show relative weakness, the beginning of it. So this is not imminent, but although with how wild it has been swinging, huge moves, 20-30% a day, then 13% down, this has a lot of range to it. Like it could still do this without any problem and still go higher, but it's starting to get tired and it's a bit strange. Maybe like when we get the 55 EMA crossover, this is buyable. Like when we get the yellow dots in this area, or slightly higher because this would go higher. So this type of pullback would be viable, also assuming this goes lower, and we basically do something like a rounded bottom. That's when it is viable, but not at this spot. It's way too volatile and too strange to trade like that. Then another one, which is Dover, which looks similar to Walmart. We see this again. This is expanding, not contracting. The distance between the two moving averages. We are under a red signal, but price is close to all-time high. It actually almost hit all-time high the previous day, got rejected, and a red day. So this looks worse and worse. We are under a sell signal from the power trend, so we are off the power trend, and it looks like we are hitting supply in this area. Come on, man, click the fuck out of it. We are hitting supply and getting rejected, and both days we went into the supply area and got rejected. So this looks like a double top in the making. Could have already topped, and it should go to this area here. And then we see. Maybe it breaks down, maybe it doesn't. But it's not a good look. Merck. Same kind of thing. This is expanding. It's going down. We kind of have a double top going here. And we close below it. Also tried to go above, got rejected. This is looking quite bad, and it's quite possible we get a sell signal as well because the power trend will end, and we should be going back into this area at 100 to potentially find more buyers. So this is a bad look, and it looks like we go lower. Also has earnings, so I'm not recommending to play any of these names. If you want to, it's your own thing, but just showing what good or bad looks like. Okay, finally BMI with a similar look, and you see the team here with healthcare looking kind of weak, the pharmaceutical companies. Expanding red signal into a previous high area, getting rejected multiple times, risking closing below the 55 EMA as well. The difference is again that this can start turning, but seeing how weak it looks, I kind of doubt that. But if it turns, I would take this trade when we do like either a breakout here or when we do a crossover again. So we get the green signal. So when we get something like this, probably like around here, like this, that's when the long would be in play. Until then, this is looking quite at the end of the power trend, and most likely we will break down and just go lower again. Again, no guarantees, but like this could also be something like this. So just goes like this for a while, and then it chooses direction either down or up. But based on what this looks like, it's not looking good. I would say the chances are like 70% to resolve to the downside and 40% to the upside. Yeah, so that's it for today. These are the ones I selected. Again, just teaching examples. I try to pick setups that I liked as well. So if you want to take any of this, that's your decision. Okay, have a good one. Bye bye.